Hi, I'm Carl Conrad and I'm part of the Australian Immigration Law Services team. We are visa and immigration specialists and we are registered and licensed to provide advice to help you get your visa to live, work and study in Australia. With 22 years of experience in the world of immigration law, we have worked with a broad range of visas for clients within Australia and around the world. If you want to learn more about visas and requirements, do subscribe to our channel, and we also share tips and important news. Are you missing out on claiming points for work experience? If you're applying for the 189, 190 or 491 visa, you need to meet a minimum score of 65 points on a points test, but it usually requires much higher points than that to be selected. The Australian government sets a maximum intake of immigrants each year, and it's incredibly competitive to get a visa. One way in which you can score points is through your work experience if it's in your nominated occupation or one that is closely related. The more years of experience you have, the more points you score. Sounds straightforward, but I'm often amazed about how many people I consult are not claiming all the full amount of work experience that they actually could. One of the reasons that this happens is because there is a lack of understanding of what a closely related occupation is, and they did not end up claiming points for occupations that would in fact qualify as closely related. I made a video on this closely related issue, occupations, and you can give that a watch. You can find a link to that video at the end of this one. Another key reason for many skilled migrant applicants missing out on potential points is due to some skill assessment bodies giving misleading advice. Have you heard the term date deemed skilled or skilled requirement met date? This is the date provided by a skill assessment body that tells you when you were qualified or at the appropriate skill level requirement to work in your nominated occupation. You might have gotten the idea that you can only claim work experience after this date. In reality, these deemed skill dates can be quite misleading when it comes to how many points you could claim on the points test. Let's take a look at the Immigration Department official policy when it comes to claiming points for work experience. In there it states, if the skill assessing authority's opinion would result in the applicant being awarded less points than the applicant claimed in their EOI, then decision makers should consider the information in the ANSCO and apply the more beneficial outcome in determining whether an applicant was working at the skilled level. The regulations require only that the applicant is employed in a nominated skilled occupation for a particular period of time. The provision does not require the applicant to have skills of a particular standard during that employment. The decision maker can consider whether the applicant is undertaking at least some of the duties prescribed for the position in ANSCO. For example, if a client is claiming employment as a carpenter, the tasks they are undertaking are those of a carpenter. Here are some examples. The Australian Computer Society tells IT professionals with a degree qualification from overseas that they need a specific years of experience before they reach their skill level in an occupation. For example, an applicant who has an overseas bachelor degree in IT generally needs a further 2 years of experience to gain a positive skill assessment. The skill assessment result indicates that those 2 years of work experience do not meet the skill level required to claim points under the points test for immigration purposes. However, this is not accurate. You can claim these points of 2 years of work experience points because the ANSCO description says only a degree is necessary to meet the skill level, not the extra 2 years of work experience. Another example is the way VitaSys carries out their skill assessment process for migration purposes. If you have a highly relevant minimum qualification level for your occupation, then you generally only need 12 months of work experience to qualify for your skill assessment. They also say that you can claim experience points only after this skill level has been obtained. Again, this is misleading because the Immigration Department's policy is that you can claim all of your work experience points after the time you have met the minimum qualification level as outlined in ANSCO. Because of these discrepancies in information, too many people end up not claiming all the points they could claim based on some skill assessment bodies giving outdated advice. It would be best to refer to the Immigration Department's regulations rather than what a skill assessment body tells you. Now, we have an article explaining this at australiavisa.com and you can have a read later. There is a link to that in the description below. If you have any questions on this issue, please book a time and discuss your circumstances so we can give you accurate and tailored guidance. We are available for Zoom, Skype and telephone consultations. Now, when I started this business 22 years ago, there was a skill migration program, but there was no such thing as skill assessments. It used to be that work experience was mandatory and you gave the immigration department's reference letters to demonstrate your skill and experience. Now, how times have changed, but that is a story for another time. Now, don't forget to subscribe and like our video to support this channel, and as always, take care out there and I will see you next time. So bye for now.